Hi everyone. Welcome back to the next video in our video tutorial series. In this video, we're going to be able to look at tutorial question 5, which is going to be all about visualizing confidence intervals. Okay, so it's all well and good. We're estimating confidence intervals, trying to draw some type of statistical inference using them. A lot of the time, we have many groups that we would like to perform some type of comparison, right? See if we can have evidence that suggests that the population value of some particular group, if they're equal to one another or if they're statistically different, right? A nice visualization is going to essentially allow us to quickly and easily compare different intervals across many groups and draw some inferences a lot quicker. Okay. So the way that we're going to do this is we're going to create a stacked bar graph in Excel. So I'll show you guys how to do this. So here we go. So this is question 5 from the week 5 tutorial. And basically question 5 is based off of question 2, right? Question 2 is essentially asking you guys to estimate a confidence interval for the mean house price by suburbs across Alpha Cross, Alkimos, um, Alfred Cove, and Alexander Heights, right? And basically what question 5 is asking you to do is using these intervals they've estimated from question 2, visualize them using a stacked bar graph, okay? So your response to question 2 might look something like this. You've estimated some descriptive statistics, the mean, the 95% confidence interval here, which is our margin of error for each of our suburbs. And then you would have estimated your lower and upper intervals by basically subtracting or adding the confidence level or the margin of error from the mean. Okay. Basically, using this response here, we can create a stacked bar graph, which is going to allow us to quickly visualize what's going on. Okay. The way we're going to do this is we're going to start by copying our variable names here or our group names here and copying and pasting that below. Next, we're going to be interested in two quantities here. The first one is going to be the lower value of our bar graph. And the second one here is going to be our confidence interval width. Okay. Because if we imagine what's going on with our bar graph, if we're going to visualize this as a stacked bar graph, right? Let me get the pen out. Let's say this is the value of the lower side of our interval. This is our 0 point here. And our confidence interval width, if this is a stacked bar graph, is essentially going to put a second bar on top of the lower side of our interval. And then this interval here is basically going to be the confidence interval that we want to visualize. If we go through for this lower section and we just select a color that would basically get rid of this section here, all we would be showing is just this interval. Okay, so that's why a stacked bar graph is going to be useful here and why we're interested in these two quantities. All right. So our confidence interval width, how thick the interval actually is, we can get that in two different ways. The first one is it's just the upper side of our interval minus the lower side. Okay. Or alternatively, our interval can also be estimated by going 2 times our confidence level or our margin of error. Right? Both of these ways are equivalent. So let's drag that across. Next, what we need to do, just the lower section here, we've already estimated this. So let's drag that in. So now these values here, they're ready for us to visualize. So let's select these values. go up here to insert, go across here to recommended charts, then select all charts. We can currently see where it is now. This is the type of visualization we're after. But we can go to all charts, go down to bar, and then select this stacked bar graph here. And then just hit OK. All right. Now it doesn't look like we can see our intervals very much just yet. But if we select these blue areas, right click on them, and change this fill here to no fill, then now we can see our confidence intervals, right? Right. Let's play around with this chart. Let's get rid of the elements that we don't need. So we don't really need this legend here. So let's get rid of that. We need some axis titles. This is going to be our house price. Give it a unit in dollars. These are our suburbs. And this is going to be confidence intervals of Perth house prices. Right. Another thing we can play around with here, let's click on these values, right click on them, or at least get up here to format data series. So make sure we've got this selected. Something that'll make it easier to compare is removing the gap width here. Right? So let's just get rid of the gap width. So now our intervals are a bit bigger. Right? Okay. Something else that we could do before we create this visualization, let's copy and paste this down below, is we could reorganize the values that we have here from smallest to largest, or from largest to smallest. This way, the intervals will be ranked next to each other based on which intervals are closest, or at least in terms of which intervals have the most similar lowest value. Okay. So in this case, we would have Alkimos would be the lowest, Alexander Heights would be next, Alfred Cove would be next after that, and then Applecross, and then I'll add in my row labels here. Okay. So let's go ahead and do it again. Let's select these values, insert, recommended charts, make our bar graph here. Here we go. Once more, let's get rid of these bars here. We don't need them. Let's change the fill color to no fill. Let's change the size of these intervals here. No gap. Now we can see that these two indeed don't overlap. It's a lot easier to compare here. Let's get rid of these elements we don't need. Let's add some chart titles here. House price in dollars. Or alternatively, these are our suburbs. Suburbs. There we go. And these is once again going to be the confidence interval of Perth house prices by suburb. All right. Now we can see using this visualization, because none of these confidence intervals overlap with one another, we can say we are 95% confident that the house prices across our suburbs are all different, that they're all statistically different from one another, right? They all have different population averages, right? Okay, guys, I'll see you in the next video.